To be a Phillies fan is to learn quickly the value of patience. After winning the first pennant in the club's history back in 1915, 2 world wars would be fought, 5 presidents elected, and an entire generation reached maturity before the Fightin' Phils would again challenge for National League mastery. By the late 1940s, new owner Bob Carpenter had rejuvenated the minor league system and the front office, paving the way for a brash new group of young players.
The fighting Phils, it's a tough team to beat. They're out to win every day. Every victory is sweet.
And what a bunch of young fighting Phils they were. At infield, boasting names like Waitkus, Hamner, and Jones. The strong and versatile outfield of Sisler, Ashburn, and Ennis. The sturdy veteran Andy Semenuk behind the plate. And a stellar young staff of Roberts, Simmons, Miller, and Constanti. It was a cast of characters assembled by a scholarly baseball man from Rhode Island, Eddie Sawyer.
I was brought here by Herb Pennock to develop some young players to fill in the gaps in Philadelphia because they'd had an older team for many years and hadn't won. In fact, finished last a lot of years. This was sort of rewarding to see them develop the way they did, and we were very fortunate. It was very rewarding.
In 1950, for the first time in years, the Phils were actually fighting for a pennant. But into every Philly season, some rain must fall. The Korean War was heating up, and Kurt Simmons' great season was interrupted by a call from Uncle Sam.
It was actually a little frustrating, but I was a young fellow, and I knew we were going to get into the service. We went to Indiantown Gap for August 1st, I think it was, and we were there 5 days or so, and then they said, everybody go home for 30 days and get your everything cleaned up, and then we're going to be activated September 5th. So we reported to the Armory in the Broad and Diamond September 5th, 1950, and we were in the service, and a week later we were shipped to Camp Atterbury, Indiana.
The loss of Simmons, plus injuries to Bubba Church, Bob Miller, and Andy Semenuk, turned a comfortable August into a nail-biting September. On October 1st, the Phillies clung to a 1-game lead over the Brooklyn Dodgers. It was the last day of the season, and the pennant would be decided at Ebbets Field. The Phillies called on their Dodger killer to do the job.
I think I beat them 5 or 6 times that year, and they may have beaten me 1 or 2. Over the course of my career, they beat me more than I beat them, but it was fairly close, and it was an exciting thing, but it was a year that I did personally win over them. It's 1950.
In the bottom of the 9th, with the score tied at 1, and Dodger Cal Abrams at second base, Duke Snyder stepped to the plate.
Line drive to center field. Ashburn races in with the ball. Here comes a throw from center field. He is out.
Richie Ashburn's throw saves the game.
Hey, this is a play I've practiced 1,000 times, charging a ball, fielding it, and throwing it accurately, which I did on that play. The ball got to me in a hurry. I made a perfect throw to home plate, and Cal Abrams was out by 20 feet. It wasn't a bang play, and when you get thrown out that far, you shouldn't have gone in the first place. Now the third base coach I think made the mistake of sending Cal Abrams home, because if they keep him at third, the bases are loaded, nobody out, and the hitter's Jackie Robinson.
In the 10th inning, Dick Sisler made the Dodgers pay for their mistake.
Swinging a fly very, very deep toward left field. Moving back, Abrams, way back. He can't get it. It's a home run. A home run for Dick Sisler.
All the time in the Dodger Stadium, or Ebbets Field, and the fans would reach out from left field, and they'd catch the ball, and they say, well, it's a double. See, this went on for years and years, and everybody in the league complained about it, but nothing was ever done about it. And all we were hoping the ball would go deep enough so that they wouldn't be able to, and it did. It went up about third or fourth row.
As 35,000 broken-hearted Brooklynites looked on, Roberts mowed down the Dodgers in the bottom of the 10th, and the Phillies had won their first pennant in 35 years.
And the guy hollered out of the barracks, sister hit a home run, and everything's great. So we won the game, and that night, Robbie and a bunch of the boys called me from the party. And, of course, Willie Jones, he had a few drinks, and he was, but I understood him, but they were very happy that evening.
3 days later, the mighty New York Yankees, who were healthy and well-rested, came to town to open the World Series. The tired and battered Phils never had a chance. They fought valiantly, but lost all 4 games by a grand total of 6 runs. For the Phillies and their faithful fans, the ultimate in baseball glory would have to wait for 30 years. It was 1964, 14 years since the last Phillies pennant, and all summer long, it looked like we would not have to wait for a 15th. Jim Bunning was a perfect game pitching hero. Richie Allen was Rookie of the Year. Johnny Callison was winning an all-star game single-handedly, and the whole team was playing up a storm, all under the guidance of the little general himself, Gene Moss. They had started printing World Series tickets, but on September 21st, when Cincinnati's Chico Ruiz stole home to beat the Phils, a chill wind blew into the Phillies' golden year.
It was something that almost took a life on all by itself, that 10-game losing streak.
You couldn't blame anybody, really. I blame Mock a little bit for using Bunning and short, but he thought that he could win it, you know, right away, and it ended up it multiplied on us.
I don't know if I can blame it on Gene Mock or not, because that guy I thought he was one of the best baseball men I've ever seen.
I mean, he was largely responsible for getting them that lead in the first place. That was probably his, altogether, his finest and worst hour in baseball.
By October 4th, the St. Louis Cardinals had grabbed the pennant the Phillies couldn't hold, and Philadelphia's golden summer had turned to dust.
I don't think I've ever seen a group of able-bodied men, 30 of them I'll say, walk off the field a sadder spectacle.
It was the year of the blue snow, a collapse that has entered the realm of legend. It would take another decade, a new stadium, and a new team to exorcise the ghosts of '64. By the mid-'70s, owner Ruley Carpenter and general manager Paul Owens had put together a talented team that won 3 straight National League Eastern Division titles. But the pennant proved as elusive as ever. On November 5th, 1978, the Phils signed the man who would give them the one quality they lacked.
They didn't quite know how to get over the hump, and when I came there for the '79 season, I brought, a couple World Championships with me. But I think after watching me for 1979 and finding out that I was legitimate as far as being Charlie Hustle, I was legitimate as far as coming to the ballpark every day, hell or high water, and busting my chops and playing as hard as I possibly can, I think it kind of rubbed off on him.
Without a doubt, he was the guy that pushed everybody that extra and kept motivating when things were going bad. Come on, let's go, get to the playoffs.
After an injury-plagued 1979 season, the Phils contended again in 1980. Following Rose's example and manager Dallas Green's famous dictum, "We, not I." After 5 months of up-and-down play, a late-season outburst from GM Owens got the club's attention once and for all.
That's when we went into Frisco, and that's when Pope took over with his. The night before, kicked the door in, wanted to fight a couple players. That day, he challenged the whole club. Matter of fact, it was September 1st because it was the first day the kids were called up.
Whatever I said, I guess it must have worked because they started playing pretty good after that.
The Phils responded, playing brilliantly in September, and went to Montreal for a final weekend series in a dead heat with the Expos. It was a simple equation. Whoever won the series won the division. It was time for a superstar to take charge.
The pitch to Schmidt. Long drive to left field. He buried it. He buried it way back. Out of here. Home run. Mike Schmidt puts the Phillies up 6-4. Oh, what a drive by Schmidt. Unbelievable. He hit that thing deep to the seats in left field. And the Phillies...
Schmidt's two-run homer was the biggest clutch hit of his career, winning the division and sending the Phils on a mission, their first pennant in 30 years. If an entire city could suffer agita for 2 weeks, it happened in October 1980 as the Phillies and the Houston Astros battled for National League supremacy. They played 5 times, and the first game was the only one to be decided in 9 innings.
Hit a ton to left field. Luzinski has homered. Phillies lead the ball game 2-1.
Greg Luzinski's two-run homer was the highlight of a 3-1 Phils victory in Game 1. So far, so good.
Little dribbler to Boa. He comes home. It's going to be late. It's safe all around.
Houston got a badly needed win at the vet with 4 runs in the 10th inning of Game 2. The final 3 games of the series would be played in the unfriendly confines of the Astrodome. The Phillies arrived at the Astrodome with silent bats, and a Houston sacrifice fly in the 11th had the Phillies down 2-1, and on the verge of yet another bitter playoff defeat.
In 11 innings. Walling a sacrifice fly.
The next day, with the Phillies' backs to the wall, the series turned truly bizarre in the 4th inning.
Broken bat, one hopper to the pitcher. He throws to first. Out at first base is Gary Maddox. Now Houston arguing that they might... Wait a minute. What's Harvey ruling? Wait a minute. A triple play? No way. They're ruling a triple play.
After much screaming and pleading from the Phillies, umpire Doug Harvey changed his mind, and the double play that became a triple play became a double play again. In the 8th, 6 outs from elimination, the Phils fought back and took a 3-2 lead. But when the Astros tied it in the 9th, it was extra innings again. Prime time for Pete Rose.
A 1-0 pitch. Driven to left field. Hard hit ball down into the corner. That ball one hops against the fence. Here comes Pete Rose digging around third. He's going to keep right on going. Here's the play at the plate. He scores! He knocked Bochy over.
I was going to score on that. I don't give a damn. They could have had a roadblock there, and I'd have broke the law. I'd have went right through the roadblock because I had to score that run. I mean, that'd give us a lift because when I scored that run, guys started to say, well, maybe things are going to go our way.
The Phils went on to win 5-3. They had gotten off the canvas and would live to fight again in Game 5. No sooner had the Phils gotten up than the Astros knocked them back down again, taking a 5-2 lead in the 7th inning of Game 5. With 6 outs left in their season, the Phillies had to face Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. He's the greatest, but... you know, he's not God.
Incredibly, in the 8th, the Phils staggered back up when pinch hitter Greg Gross bunted to load the bases. And when Rose forced in a run with a walk, the great Nolan Ryan was out of there.
He didn't want to be taken out of that game. I mean, Nolan Ryan did not want to leave that game, and probably that's the best thing that happened to us. He left that game.
The Phils scored 2 more runs to tie it, which brought Manny Trio to the plate.
The 1 strike to Trio. Line drive left field. Base hit. Here comes Avalos to score. Heading for third base is Unser. That ball's in the corner. Here comes Unser for the plate. He's going to score. He goes into third. Manny Trio to third with a 2-run triple. Phillies lead the game 7-5.
The Phils had come from 3 down to 2 up in the 8th. But the Astros wouldn't die, tying it back up at the bottom of the inning off Tug McGraw.
There was some doubt in my mind whether I was overtired or not. Those are things that you're out there, you just want to do it, and you kind of like, you got to believe that something's good's going to happen.
When the ninth went scoreless, extra innings loomed again for the fourth game in a row. In this pressure cooker, the 10th inning belonged to Gary Maddox with Del Unser at third.
Pitch on the way to Maddox. Line drive, center field, sinking, base hit. That ball's in play. Phillies lead. The ball gets Guy Poole. Maddox goes to second.
Bottom of the 10th, one-run lead, and it was up to Dick Ruthven to end 30 years of waiting.
The windup by Ruthven. The 3-2 pitch. Here's a punch shot to center field. Maddox racing over. He catches the ball. Phillies win the pennant. The Phillies have won the pennant. The Phillies win the ball game 8-7. They go to the World Series for the first time in 30 years.
As the overjoyed Phillies carried Gary Maddox off the field, they realized that one more prize was yet to be claimed.
We got through a pressure cooker in Houston, and as Pete told us, he says, you get through the playoffs, then you're going to have a lot of fun in the World Series.
The fun began on Tuesday, October 14th at Veterans Stadium versus the American League champion Kansas City Royals. Rookie Bob Walk was shaky, but pitched just well enough to let right fielder Bake McBride provide the fireworks.
Pitch to Bake McBride. Fastball, swing and a long drive. Deep right field. Way back. It is out of here. Home run, Bake McBride. Phillies have taken a 5-4 lead.
It was the big blow in a comeback 7-6 victory. The first World Series game win for the Phillies in 65 years. The next night, the Phils followed the script, falling behind 4-2 until the 8th, when hits by Schmidt, McBride, rookie Keith Moreland, and red-hot pinch hitter Del Unser ignited a 4-run rally and another heart-stopping win. The Cardiac Kids had done it again and were on their way to Kansas City. Fresh out of miracles in Game 3, the Phils lost 4-3. The next day, the Royals were romping to a big lead, and reliever Dickie Knowles decided to send a message.
The 0-2 pitch to Brett. Look out, George Brett has to hit the dirt on a high inside fastball, and Brett goes down in a hurry at home plate. Here comes Jim Fry, Kansas City manager, out of the dugout, and he is hot. He talks first to Don Denkinger, and now is looking out at Dickie Knowles. Pete Rose coming in from first base, now trying to get between Fry and Dickie Knowles.
You know, Dickie, he don't give a damn about anything, especially when he's playing a game of baseball. I don't even think Dickie knew he was in a World Series. I mean, he looked at me like, are you crazy? What's this guy yelling at? I said, Dickie, he thinks you were throwing at him. He says, I was.
It was a purpose pitch, and it worked. Brett and the Royals won Game 4, but it would be the high point of their series. Sunday, October 19th, Game 5. The series was now tied, and the Phils did not want to come home trailing 3-2. With one on in the fourth, Mike Schmidt took charge.
Fastball, swing, and a high towering drive to deep right center. This ball is out of here. Home run, Mike Schmidt, and the Phillies lead it 2-0.
The teams clawed at each other until the Phillies broke through with 2 runs in the 9th and entrusted a 1-run lead to their ace closer. With 2 on and 1 out, it was cardiac time again. Hal McRae's drive drifted barely foul, and McGraw couldn't contain his relief. The exhausted McGraw went on to walk the bases full and then reached down for a pitch that had to be good.
The fun part about going out on that field with history in the making was that you trusted your teammates and they trusted you. So you reached back for a little extra based on that trust.
Doug is ready. A 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck the inbound with Phillies are now up on Kansas City 3-2 and going back to Philadelphia.
That's what reaching back is, what recognizing the situation and saying, yeah, it's time for me now to be the best that I can be. And it's a wonderful feeling.
Tuesday, October 21st, Game 6 of the World Series, and the Phillies were home again, with 65,000 fans screaming for the World Series trophy. Supreme southpaw Steve Carlton breezed through 7 innings as the Phils built a 4-0 lead. But you didn't think this would be easy, did you? Late in the game, Carlton tired and gave way to McGraw, who loaded the bases and yielded a run in the 8th. He loaded them again in the 9th and faced Frank White with 1 out.
Doug has the side. Here's the pitch to White. Swing and a high pop foul near the Phillies dugout. Rose and Boone both there. Boone drops the ball. Rose grabs it. What an incredible play. Pete Rose grabbed the ball after Boone dropped it, and then 2 outs here in the 9th.
That's either my ball or Boone's ball, and we both went after it, and he just happened to beat me there, and I hate to say because he's so damn slow, but he still beat me there, and that wasn't that unusual. I mean, the unusual thing is it popped out where I could see it and catch it.
And so now I'm walking back out to the mound. Willie Wilson's going to come up, and we're going to go after the final out. When you're standing on the mound in front of 65,000 people and you're living 97 years of frustration, it's more than just the humidity. It's like there's dampness on your skin and your hairs are sticking straight up. It's like the humidity's been energized from the stands. It's like they're shooting electricity down into you and your whole body is just tingling. And then I thought, you know, this is what it's all about, man. Being scared is fun. Recognizing fear is like, we wouldn't even want to be here if we weren't scared. There's no reason to be here if it wasn't important.
There was no more drama to be played out. McGraw and the Phillies had come too far to be denied now.
Willie Wilson standing in, bases loaded. 1-2 pitch. Yes, he's struck in now. Yes, they did. The Phillies are the world champions of baseball.
It was just like all the baseball fans from the turn of the century, it just lifted us right up off the ground and said thank you. And you got to be a part of it. It was just unbelievable.
And we happened to be in 2 World Series in 5 years and 3 playoffs and a mini playoff, which we lost to Montreal. So if every 5 years of every player can be as exciting to them as the 5 years I had to Philadelphia, they'd walk through hell in a gasoline suit to play baseball.
Edgar Williams, I think, said it in the Inquirer best when he said that Tug McGraw was positively poetic at the end of that show. I've never heard a more eloquent explanation of how you get through that tough, defining moment of a World Series the way Tug McGraw just told it to us now at the end of Philadelphia's fabulous sports memories. I hope this program has stirred up some for you, and if they have, and if you'd like to have that Christmas present for that certain someone, here it is. Come and get it right now, right here, with your $60 pledge at 215-923.